so there was a fire raging in the back of the aeroplane. I was flying a Phantom out of Wildenrath in Germany in 1986, and it was to do an inverted flight check. In other words, the aircraft had a loose article in it. The engineers couldn't find it, so we had to go and turn it upside down to see if they could find it after some negative G. And what we didn't know is that the hydraulic pipe that feeds hydraulic pressure to the rudder PFCU, the Power Flying Control Unit, had split, and hydraulic fluid was coming out of it at 3,000 psi and turning into a very flammable mist. And it went on top of the reheat. It caught fire, so there was a fire raging in the back of the aeroplane. But those who know the Phantom will know that the fire detection system is only in the engine bay, not in the jet pipe bay. So we had no warning of the failure other than that we'd had a hydraulic failure because the hydraulic pressure had dropped in that system. So we set off back towards Wildenrath to land the aircraft, and because there's no hydraulic pressure we had to blow the undercarriage down using the emergency system. And I was just about to blow the flaps down on the emergency system to get the airplane fully configured to land when it pitched up very violently, and we subsequently found out that the fire had burnt through the elevator input rod, although in American it's called a stabilator input rod because it's an all-moving tailplane. So that rod burnt through, and the vibration down the back end of the aeroplane drove the stabilator to full deflection. Luckily for us, it drove it to full nose down on the elevator, pitches the aircraft up. So it pitched up very, very violently. We were at about 5,000 feet when this happened. I parked the stick on the front stop and nothing much was happening, so I told the navigator to eject. He ejected at about 6,500, 7,000 feet, and just as he ejected, the nose of the aircraft started to come down. So I thought that I'd got control back, but what had actually happened is the aeroplane had stalled and then it sliced very violently into a flat spin. Well, if you know a Phantom, there is no recovery from a flat spin, because the Phantom spin recovery was the first thing you did was deploy the drag chute, which was supposed to drop the nose below the horizon to start. Then you could start the aerodynamic recovery. But in a flat spin, it's never going to work, because all that happens is a bag of washing comes out the back of the aeroplane and flaps around but never deploys. So I ejected at about 5,000 feet as the aeroplane was on its way down. And it came down in the edge of a cornfield near a little town next to RAF Wildenrath, and we ended up landing at the bottom of a lady's garden. Well, I did. My navigator landed in an orchard about half a mile away, but we very quickly got together, and I climbed over this lady's fence, and in my very best pidgin German asked her if I could use her telephone, and I phoned the squadron and gave them some incoherent message that we were both okay, and about 5 or 10 minutes later a helicopter arrived and took us both to hospital. But we managed to get out of the hospital just in time for the bar opening at 5 o'clock that evening.